One of the perks of sharing my workspace now with my kids is I often get to overhear vignettes from their Zoom lessons. The other day, one of my daughter's moras was describing how she missed the kids so much and she can't wait till they get back to school. And one of the boys on the call said, "Yeah, I also can't wait for this to end." And the mora said, "You can't wait to get back to school?" And the boy said, "No, I can't wait to go back to Chuck E. Cheese." I thought that exchange was precious, but perhaps it also provides some context for how we're feeling at this time. Thinking about in the distant future, we may be able to return to some sense of normalcy and what that might look like. And perhaps the Torah really, in Parshas Acharei and Kedoshim, really describe this return. You see, the Parsha picks up describing the aftermath of the death of Aaron's sons. We've also been through a traumatic experience. And the message HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Moshe is as follows. Vayomer Hashem Moshe dabra el Aaron achicha v'al yavo b'chol eis el HaKodesh. You can't always go back to the Kodesh, to the sacred spaces. Bizos yavo Aaron el HaKodesh. With this, in this manner, is the way you can return. Parben bakar lechatas ayel ola with certain korbanos. Ksonas bad kodesh yilbash michnas bad yu abisaro, wearing certain garments. Mitznefet bad, the shirts, the hats, the belts. Big day kodesh. They become big day kodesh. Only the Torah is prescribing that only with the proper avoda, in the proper manner, and with the proper clothing will it be appropriate to return back to the sacred spaces. And I thought this message in the opening words of Acharei really speaks to the situation we find ourselves in now. As we begin to contemplate what it might look like at some point to return to the sacred spaces, we have to begin a conversation now when we're still, for the most part, subject to our homes, of what it's going to look like. And I don't have all the answers, and it might be a rollout process of maybe we'll have to have more minyanim options for less people to provide space for proper social distancing. And maybe we'll have to wear face masks and gloves, who knows? What I do know is when we do come back, and even right now, the clothes that we wear to protect each other, the masks, the gloves, they become big day kodesh, as they're there to safeguard our health and safeguard our ability to be at supermarkets and to be at work and to be in the places that are essential. But there's a comment that Rav Hirsch said that I think really stood out. And that is, we may not know when we can come back, but we can use this time now to think about what it's going to look like or how we can become elevated from this process in order to get back. Rav Hirsch says that the Torah is saying you can't just run back to the sacred space. Val yavo b'chol eit. You can't go all the time to the mikdash. Haknisa l'makomot eila muter rak l'tzorach avoda. You see, Acharei is describing the avoda that the Kohen Gadol would perform on Yom Kippur. In order to go in lifnai v'lifnim into the mikdash, into that sacred space, it had to be for the avoda. Haknisa l'makomot eila muter rak l'tzorach avoda. The only way to get back is if we're going to do real avoda. I think this time right now, before we're able to go back, is precious. To begin to contemplate what it's going to look like, not just in terms of what are we going to wear or what are the logistics that are required to get back to shul, but what is the purpose, the goal? The goal of going back to the mikdash is to have a real avoda, a more genuine avoda. This whole process has helped recalibrate our focus. Why do we go to shul? Why do we go to school, to the Beis Medrash? L'tzorach avoda, for genuine, pristine, intimate relationship and service of God. And so it's true, many of us are excited to just get out, to go to Chuck E. Cheese, to go wherever it is that you are chalashing and waiting to go back to. And that's okay. But when it comes to our sacred spaces, let's make sure not to miss the moment, miss the opportunity to also reflect on how we can work together to enhance our shul experience, our Beis Medrash experience, our yeshivos, our school experience. That we can come out of this whole process, Acharei mos, after this whole traumatic experience, with Kedoshim, with a sense that we're more elevated and more focused in our avodas Hashem. Have a good Shabbat.